Hello, everyone. Welcome to this episode of Beyond the South Stand with me, Jez Davies. I am joined with Ollie Adler this evening. How are you, sir?
Yeah, all good, mate. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. And thanks for coming back on again to talk about this weekend's game against Southampton. I think we probably should discuss the game midweek. Feels like ages ago now. It was only a couple of days ago, wasn't it? The Sheffield United game. Did you get to see that game?
Yeah, I watched it from home. I was debating on going, to be fair, but obviously the result on Saturday kind of swayed me away, and we'll get back at 3-4 a.m. So credit to the travelling fans that went as well. It's a long journey for a Tuesday night. But yeah, I thought we played well. First 30 minutes we had chances to open the scoring. I know that Sargent sort of overhead kick kind of attempt cleared off the line by Ings. We looked really good in the for the first 30 minutes. Seemed to slip control towards the end of the first half. Obviously, he conceded the goals second half. Danny Ings, it's kind of a soft goal to concede, but it's massive really in it. But I thought the team done well. We lost Sargent McLean at half time. To come out and find out a result there, I thought that was brilliant. To be fair, great character shown.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think it kind of probably leads nicely in some of the questions that we're going to be sort of talking about this evening. But I thought I was going to say our goal was well worked. It was a bit of a scramble, really, wasn't it? But actually, it showed the desire to kind of get themselves back in the game. And we could have won it at the end with obviously Forson's chance. I think. What do you think was going through his head there?
Yeah. To be fair, I think the angle that he kind of took the ball, and obviously your mind's so tired towards the end of that. I've been in plenty of one-on-one situations, not at that level either. So I know the pressure it can be. My heart was in my stomach at that moment as well. I thought we had done it, but chance goes begging. I mean, I would have taken a point happily before the game anyway. So I'm not too disappointed with it. I expected a lot worse, but coming out with a point from that game was good enough for me.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think, in terms of Forson, I think he was just too much time, just what the goal would have meant as well. So it was just too much pressure on it, too much time, too much pressure. And actually the goalkeeper's pulled out a decent save. So yeah, not too bad. I mean, moving on to some of the questions/discussion points we're going to be talking about this evening. So I'm going to ask you what kind of impact or immediate impact you think Clement's had since he's taken over. So obviously he's going into his sixth game now, amazingly. I don't know how that's happened. And do you think we're starting to see sort of a clear identity of how he wants Norwich to play?
Yeah, I think with what he's got at his disposal, he's been good so far. I think, is there pressure on him to grind out results? I don't think he could have done much better with the team that he's currently got at the minute. Yes, we're playing better football, and Watford is an example of that, where we played well, but we need to start seeing results and a lot more wins. He's coming through a tough period. Southampton, Sheffield United. Obviously, Birmingham was his first game. They're tough teams. I think over the Christmas period, there's an easier run of games, but he's continuing to grind out results. Obviously, we haven't heard the press conference for the game because it's due tomorrow, I think.
Tomorrow,
yeah. We'll see what the squad's looking like then. But I think in terms of pressure on Clement, I think he's done well. He's done the best he could, to be honest. I think the players are showing a lot better attitude on the pitch. I think that's where I am with him at the minute.
It's a fair shout. I think he's come in and he's completely changed the mentality of the club, the first team in particular. But he hasn't been helped with these injuries. So, I mean, what is it now? 14 players out, something ridiculous like that. And I think you mentioned McLean and Sargent. Neither of them were training today. The club released a video of them doing the training, and them two are notable absentees. So I think we're going to go into Saturday's game. Realistically, I think we're probably going to go without them. Who comes in those departments, do you think?
Obviously, it was clear that when he took McCarmer off midweek that he's probably going to play more central, and that's where he played when Sargent came off anyway. So I think we're resting McCarmer. And who you bring out on wide? Do you bring Uriset? Yeah, he came on for a bit. Forson's another player that can play on the wing, out on that right hand side. So I'm not too disappointed with Makama going up front, to be honest. Yes, it's unfortunate that we've lost Sargent in that way, but I think it's clear that he's probably better off used up front where his natural position is. I think I'm excited to see what we can do. In terms of McLean, I'm not sure who you go with there, to be fair. Who was it that came on? I think, did he bring Macondes? Yeah, Macondes.
Then played Macondes further forward, brought right back into that role.
Yeah, you could. That's another thing. You could drop right back there. Matson's been playing. I think he's been probably one of our best players over the last 3 games easily. So I'm happy with him. And Wright as well. I thought he was okay first half. I thought he started the game quite well. It's kind of drifted as the game went on, in my opinion. But I'm happy with Wright in there as well.
No, I think you're right. I think I think when Wright dropped back into that role, he looked a lot better. I think he looked a bit lost in the number 10 role. That said, he had his shot right at the start, didn't he? Which was just wide. But I think, I don't know really. I think something's got to be done about this injury issue, because it's just too many now, and it's not a fluke, is it? Like you can kind of account for probably 4 or 5 at a push. But when it's 14 and, majority of those are the first team squad as well, it's just, it's not great. So, I think perhaps moving on then. So I did say here, does he stick with the same core players again or rotate to protect tired legs? But to be honest with you, what same core players? Because they're not there. I mean, I guess... When's the next game? It's the following Saturday, isn't it?
Yeah, I believe it's Preston.
Yeah. So I guess I'm going to rephrase this one then. So do you think we're going to see 90 minutes from the likes of Makama and Macondes, or do you think he's going to bring some of the youth players in? And if he does, who do you think might come in?
That's what I mean. It's like with the injuries that we have out at the minute as well, it's like, who do you have on the bench? Sargent and McLean now missing. I think Crisene's coming back while he was playing midweek. So whether he starts or not, I'm not sure if he's fit enough. Chris Garden obviously is being assessed for the same knee problem that he had at Coventry, I think it was. So the bench, I think it's going to be full of youth again. Obviously he's, Mundell Smith's seen a lot more minutes recently. Still, to me, very raw. Improve a lot, but Clement can throw surprises, and like when Springett started left back against Watford, I think it was when he first came in, and obviously started left back again against Sheffield United. So to be honest, mate, I can't tell you who could be on the bench Saturday. I think it comes as a surprise to anyone. There's a lot of youth players being involved. Obviously, the youth team got on well in the FA Youth Cup midweek. I think it was the same night as well, beating Stoke 2-1. So there's definitely players there that can come in and hopefully build an experience in the first team. So, like I said, I'm excited to see what surprise he throws out.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lad called Bauman. I don't know if I pronounced that right. I think he was bought from Man United, and he's looked pretty good in some of the youth games that I've seen. So I do wonder if he's going to be brought in, whether it'll be obviously on the bench, but it'll be good to see him given an opportunity. But I think you're right. I mean, we haven't got any choice. I'm half tempted to take my boots down, because you never know. But no, I think it's going to be an interesting one, and good luck to him. Really, I mean, I think it'd be good. I mean, Southampton on a run, aren't they? At the moment, so, and they seem like they're quite a high energy side. So because of these absences, where do you think that's going to hurt us the most? And where can we actually, how can we beat Southampton? Sorry.
I think it'll be a tough game. Obviously, we've seen Southampton come down this season already to Carrow Road and beat us 3-0. Obviously, under different management now. But they've got 6 wins in the last 7. Only losing to a Millwall side that's at 4th or 3rd in the table now, I think it is. But like I said, he seems to be getting a lot more out of his players. Like Armstrong, for example, has turned the corner recently. I think he's got 5 goals in his last 4 games, something like that, 2 braces back to back. But they've got a big squad, Southampton. They invested heavily in the summer. They were massively underperforming for a long period of time. I think Saturday is going to be more of a challenge than what Sheffield United was, in my personal opinion, because if you look at that Sheffield United team, they had a lot of key players out, like Riederald. There's another one noticed. I can't remember who it was. Peck was out. That's another player, midfielder. Yeah, I think, like I said, that left side again. I know Chris Enne is coming back. Yes, he'll probably be unfit, but Schwartz's played a lot of football for how old he is as well. 19. He's not had a break really this season. Not a natural winger either, but he's doing really well there. I think, and then obviously McLean's now at the midfield, Sargent missing. There'll be a lot of adaptations to take into consideration for this Norwich side on Saturday. But I think if we go out there with the same mentality that we had against Sheffield United to, grind out a result, I think we could be successful. I'm excited to see how the game plays out.
Yeah, I think what I've noticed is we seem to go into each game with a clear plan, and we've kind of improved, not massively because it seems like we keep mentioning it, but the injury issue. But we have improved, and I think we look at the likes of Fisher, Matson, Macondes, Makama. I'm trying to think of, there's one more, Schwartau. Those 5 players, they look completely different now as they did under Manning. So I think, he is having an impact on individuals, but as well as that, he's having an impact on the team because he's having to rotate constantly because of what's going on. And actually, we go to Bramwell Lane where they had a good run, didn't they? They'd won something like 5 out of the previous 6, and we beat them. So I think we can surprise Southampton. I think we need to be an element of surprise about it, because they'll come to Carrow Road thinking they can just rock up and get the 3 points. But actually, I think we can surprise them. So we could, the way we play, I think how we do that, I don't know. But I think it's just in terms of the endeavour and the performance and how they dig in to get that result. That seems to be the way that we're doing it at the moment. So, I'm excited about the game as well, to be fair. And it's an early kickoff.
Yeah.
So, do you think the players, on that obviously point about adapting to Clement's system, do you think they are adapting quickly enough? Or do you think obviously the injury situation is making it possible to get any real consistency?
Yeah, no, I think you can go back to your point where you just mentioned 5 players that are massively improved under Clement that were, pretty much non-existent under Manning. I think Fish is a great example. I thought during his early days he weren't favoured at all. He was sat on the bench most games, but he's come in. Sheffield United was a fantastic performance. I remember that. I think the run that he took from right back all the way through the midfield to then release Makama for an opportunity out across. And obviously he had that left-footed shot in the first half that nearly went in as well. But, he's looking much better, and he was at the time our only fit fullback until Chris Enne's now back. I think it's important to note that Darling's coming back in now after a suspension as well.
Yeah.
So what he does with that back line, because I thought, to be fair to Medic, I thought he played a lot better than what a lot of fans were expecting of him midweek. But yeah, the players are adapting. I think you can see that they respect their manager a lot more. They realise probably the position they're in now, where we need to start acting quick and getting results and finding the performances. Again, another player, McConville, who's been superb. He's come in, looks so composed, looks like he's played there for years. So yeah, the players are adapting well. And obviously Schwartau, he's adding goals and assists to his game, the goal and assist against Watford. He's not even a natural left winger either. And Marcondes as well, he seems to get a lot more out of Marcondes. So the players, he's bringing a lot of good things out of the players that were overlooked by Johannes. Slimani is another one that came on. He wasn't even included in any of Manning's squads. Take that into consideration.
And we're back. We just had some sound issues there, Ollie. So obviously, just carry on your point about Slimani, please.
Yeah, so obviously, if you look on the Manning, he wasn't included in any of his matchday squads. And yes, you could probably take into consideration we've got a lot more injuries now. Like you mentioned, 14 players out. But I thought he came on and I thought he didn't really do too bad. He was putting himself out. Yes, he lost possession, I think, once and nearly gave up a good opportunity. But like I said, that consistent to get back and defend mentality and, sprint and give 110% every time you're on the pitch. He's bringing a lot out of a lot of players that were overlooked last season.
I think he's a good ball carrier, isn't he? I've always thought that about Slimani, where he's he sometimes does give the ball away, but I think it's because he's trying to find that, how do I put it, difficult pass. So we've got a lot of players that are pass merchants, that will just do the easy pass, and their passing stats look a lot better than a player like Slimani that's always trying to find that little dink through ball or whatever. So yeah, I think that's probably why. But no, I agree with you. I think if we can get him a run in the team, he could be a bit of a surprise package for us, really. But no, I think it's key that we McConville, you mentioned as well, brilliant. He's been, obviously friend of the pod. Donated his boots for the Ambers Army event. Been chatting to him a little bit on Instagram, and it's so good to see him progressing. And I think we've all been, not all, but some Norwich fans have been to blame for writing off these players too quickly, calling them duds and stuff. And actually, I was the same with Shartow. I must admit, I was thinking, he's not. Where does this lad fit into our team? Is he a 10? Is he a winger? But actually, the last 3 or 4 games, he's probably been one of our better players. So I think it's a lesson for all of us to just kind of give these lads a little bit more of a chance. Yeah,
for sure. I think as well, with Shartow, you don't realise how young he still is. He's still 19, and the problem I have is there's not, like, obviously he's bringing Mundell Smith through, but there's not been that influential youth player that's come through over the years that, like, we've seen with Rowe. Obviously, Kamara's been out on loan. He's done really well. We got, decent money for him as well. But before that, with Cantwell, Lewis, Godfrey, Aarons, that's the only thing I worry about is, the youth. Yes, they're being bought through, but that's because of injury problems as well. But I'm waiting for that next influential, talent, someone like a Rowe to come through and really break into the team. I think that is something we are missing. But yeah, like you said, I'm happy with where we are.
I can't believe I'm going to mention the injury crisis again, but I'm going to. Gabe Forsyth, he started this last season really well, and then all of a sudden picked up his. Sorry, Gabe, I can't remember how you got injured, mate, but I think it was an ACL. And we haven't seen him since. But he looked really good, and you're right. And I think a lot of it is having a manager that kind of A, develops those players, but B, also has the balls to give them a chance. Because I think there's some managers or coaches that like to play it safe and want to use more experienced players, if you like. But now I think personally, we've got a manager that will give those youth players a chance. Look at, Spring, it's a little bit older now, but who would have thought he would have been brought in at left back rather than shoving Kenny McLean there and doing the old, what was it, round holes, square pegs type scenario. So for me, I think we do have a manager that will give those youth players the opportunity when they're ready. Who knows what's going to happen on Saturday? We might be 2 or 3-0 up, living in dream world here a little bit, but we might be able to give these lads an opportunity. So yeah, we'll see what happens. So lastly, given the form of both teams currently, what would be a realistic expectation for the Southampton game? Do you think? And then sort of a follow-up question to that is: do you think we should be aiming to control the game or looking to hit Southampton on the break?
I think obviously in an ideal world we want to control the game. I think with the fans as well, it's a lot. The atmosphere at Carrow Road has been a lot better. People trust in the manager, they trust in the players now from what they've seen, especially midweek against Sheffield United. So I think if we can get going early, build the atmosphere, put an early goal in like we struggled to do at Sheffield midweek. We had plenty of chances to go in front in that first 30 minutes and probably settle the nerves a bit. But I think, we can't underestimate Southampton. We've seen what they've done this season. Yes, that was under Will Still, who was poor in the end, to be fair. Deserved the sack, rightly so. But that was still the same Southampton side that came. Like I said, he's bringing out, like Clement is with our players. Tonda's bringing out the good in Armstrong, Finn Azaz as well. So they've got some good players. They'll be dangerous on the break. So I think if we stay compact, I don't think Well, I mean, Clement's got his identity, his clear game plan. He'll know what he wants to do. Fans have got to be up for it, and hopefully we can come out with a point or 3 points at the best.
I think you've already mentioned Adam Armstrong, but is there any other Southampton player that you've seen this season that you'd think we need to be worried about?
Yeah, I think Kasper Yander, I think that's how you pronounce it. He's a midfielder. He started off really sort of poor for Southampton, like most players did, but I've watched him a few times. He can carry the ball quickly, can shoot, finish. He's still very young as well, so he'll be one to watch out for in the middle of the park for sure, especially with now McLean out. So whoever's coming in, big shoes to fill, to be honest.
See one called Cienza or something like that. He's supposed to be quite good.
Yeah, he's I believe he's Brazilian.
Right.
He was at Heidenheim last season in the Bundesliga. I think so. He's come across. He's been pretty good as well, especially during Southampton's off period as well. He was still scoring goals in games that they were losing and stuff. Obviously, I think he scored the first against West Brom midweek. Nice finish across into the far corner as well. So yeah, he'll be one to look out for as well.
Nice. Okay. Okay. I think we've come to the end. It was a short episode tonight, but let's give us your score prediction then, Ollie.
I'm going for an optimistic. I reckon 2-2. I reckon it's got goals just because of our injury problem, how good Southampton are going forward. But I do back us to get a point. And I think the boys should take that Sheffield performance with pride, I guess, come Saturday.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm going with a win. I think we're actually going to surprise, again, element of surprise. I think we're going to go and I think it'll be tough. I think there'll be goals. I'm going to go 3-2.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
I just don't know. I've just got a good feeling. I think also it'd be good to carry on the pattern that Clermont seems to have had, which is lose, draw, win. So that'd be nice to sort of do that all the way through. So I'm just going to actually just finally before we finish, Ollie. I wanted to just chat to you about the transfer window, which obviously opens in 2 or 3 weeks' time, and I think we've still got a fair amount of games before then. But do you have any sort of early thoughts about where we perhaps need to strengthen, and any sort of specific players that you might think would fit the bill?
Yeah, obviously, what are we 3 weeks or just over 3 weeks away from the window now, something like that. Obviously, I'd love a new winger. Diallo's been out for a lengthy period of time now, and he's the only sort of one. I know Jurisek's been playing as well, but there's been questions about his fitness all season. Hasn't really been given a look in, so another wing is desperately needed. In terms of player profile, I've seen, is it Matonda or something? Rabbi Matonda not linked, but talked about just because he's played under Clement before.
Wow.
So, he's been a name that's been thrown around. But I think as well, you can go 2 ways about it as well. It's like, who do we need for a relegation scrap? Because my argument is, if we go down the Premier League loan route, it's like players, yes, they'll come, and I'm not saying this is to all players, but some players will come down knowing that, they'll probably have another shot at Championship football next season, regardless if we're relegated or not. So it's about probably bringing players on sort of longer term contracts, but I know it's hard in January as well with the market and everything. Players are in season with their current club, so it's going to be hard to go out there and bring and attract players to where we are now with 23rd in the division. But I think, I'd love to see a new winger, potentially a new centre back as well. Left back actually. That's a big one. Obviously, Mahovo and Crescene has been. They've been unfit for the majority of the season, like Springer playing left back or Fisher playing left back, but definitely a new fullback. But I'd like to see us bring sort of 3 to 4 players in. I think that'll probably be the perfect amount. What about you?
Yeah, I'm the same. I'm exact. I think pretty much word for word what you said. So another left back, because between Schlupp, Mahovo, and Crescene, they can't keep themselves fit. So you're right. I think we need cover there. We need an attacking midfielder, creative midfielder that we lost when we sold Nunes. Because as well, as good as our midfielders are and have become, Matson's not that sort of player. He's more of your sort of Alex Tetty type, get the ball back off the opposition, which he does brilliantly at, by the way. But we need that winger again. I've just looked at Rabbi Matondo where he is at the moment. So he's playing at Hanover in Germany.
Yeah.
Bundesliga 2. He's only played 10 games and scored once, but might be that he.
Yeah, I was only putting that name about because it's been thrown around on Twitter and TikTok and whatnot. So who knows?
I think he'd be a good signing. I think I think he just needs because he's highly rated. He just needs to find a home, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So I'm not writing him off by any stretch, but no, I think we need another right winger. I'd say it would be either wing really, but right winger and a striker.
Yeah,
because if I ain't calling him Chris Gorham, Kiss Garden, even though that's how you pronounce it, it just never feels right. Matthias, let's call him Matthias. If his knee injury persists, we ain't going to see him for the rest of the season, or at least in dribs and drabs. So we need a striker that's going to play, particularly if we lose Sargent, which I hope we don't, but we may well do. Then we might need two. So. Yeah, I think 4 or 5 basically, and I agree with what you're saying about the Premier League loans as well. I think we need to get young's the wrong word to use. Hungry players that are going to actually want to fight for the cause, believe in Clement's philosophies. I would expect to see at least 1 or 2 that he's previously worked with. His men,
sure,
almost his players. So Be interesting for you months, I reckon. And as I say, we've got to get the next 6, 7, 8 games out the way with before then. So, we will see. And then, did you see the FA Cup draw as well? Who we got in that?
Yeah, Walsall. Yeah. Obviously, well, it's always weird because every time Walsall are mentioned and stuff, they're nicknamed Saddlers as well. That's my second name, so it's
of course, yeah,
weird, yeah.
I didn't make the link until you said it.
Yeah. So I was hoping for an away day, to be fair, somewhere new, but I mean I don't mind it. They're top of League 2, I think, so it'll be a tough game, to be fair. Probably could be a fixture next season if we don't play our cards right as well. So
could be.
But I'm hoping that we can progress through that and go on a nice cup run. I think it'll be good.
I'd hoped it was going to be Boreham Wood because I'm literally 15 minutes up the road from there. So I could have, it would have been perfect for me. Or as you say, someone new like Weston-super-Mare or something. I couldn't believe that Boreham Wood got drawn against, I think it was Burton or Brackley. Obviously Burton went through, didn't they?
Oh yeah.
I can't remember who Weston-super-Mare got though. Did they get Grimsby, was it?
Yeah, Grimsby away, I think, yeah.
Yeah, I mean this is the thing, innit? They could have had so many teams like Man City. Imagine Man City against Weston-super-Mare. Yeah. That would have been brilliant. But even Man City rocking up there. But there we go. Right, okay, Ollie. Well, thanks once again for coming on, mate. It's been a pleasure to catch up with you as always. Are you going to the game Saturday?
Unfortunately not. No, I've got a game myself. So
are you playing, aren't you?
Yeah, playing. So
well, best of luck. Hope it goes well.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah. But like I said, I'll be keeping an eye on the score for sure. So I just hope we can get a result.
No, definitely. And then for everyone else watching, please do like and subscribe for more great content. Especially now Ollie's more involved. It's always much better now. So. And for everyone else, sorry, it's one of those, Ollie. I'm just so knackered. Please like and subscribe on our channel for more great content. Please also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, X, and Oliver's wonderful TikTok channel. And we are proudly part of the TalkSport Fan Network. Goodbye, everyone. I hope you enjoy the game on Saturday.